Hello everybody, wherever you are and whenever you are. We're here on the draw against Lady Blythe, playing some more Luis Salvatto's blue-white Modern Miracles deck. So this hand looks good enough to me. We have some cantrips to help us get there here off the back of our two lands. So let's go ahead and keep this hand and see what we got going on here. Or sorry, 3 lands. Somehow that one snuck right in there. So as of right now, since we don't have any other interaction up, I'm going to go ahead and lead with the Colonnade. Seems like a good spot to get that down. We'll just go ahead and pass through here. So depending on what we see from our opponent, lead on Basic Island into Sulphur Falls. So not sure whether this is something a little janky or whether this is something a bit more standard, but I'm going to lead here with the Flooded Strand so we can have the option of either Logic Knot or Negate depending on what our opponent is doing. They go for a Blood Moon here. Alright, looks like they are not going to. I'm gonna keep that fetch land right there for now, I think. And we'll just play out another. Just in case they go for a Blood Moon or something like that, I'd like to at least have a little bit of a heads up. Alright, looks like it might just be Jeskai or something of that nature. Alrighty. So it looks like we're up against some sort of a control mirror here. Only time will tell what exactly our opponent is on. Alright, so it definitely looks like it's Jeskai control. They might be trying to go for a Vendilion Clique or something here. Okay, Cryptic Command on our Colonnade. I think we have to let that resolve. Although, I think I am going to opt here. Gonna get that out of the way. Alright. Probably cycle that into a slightly more useful card here. Unfortunately, we do have to discard. Our hand is actually pretty good. Don't want to discard. I think it might just be the opt. So if they go for Jace plus Dispel or Jace plus Snare, we could be in trouble. Okay. I'm going to put out the island here because I want to be able to keep up 2 pieces of interaction. Not crazy about them bouncing back that land, but I don't think that's going to be the end of the world. I mean, if we're going to continue to just play draw go like this, then we're eventually going to come to a point where there's this Cryptic Command again. So this one I'm a little bit more inclined to fight over, just because I really don't want to go down 2 lands, I guess. So we'll Cryptic that one just to keep them from, or rather we'll Mana Leak their Cryptic just to prevent them from locking us down here on lands too severely. So of course if they have their Nahiri, okay. So we're going to go ahead and get a couple of islands out of our deck. We're going to try and cash in this Logic Knot. There's a very good chance that they have some form of counter magic. But if they do, it will at least require them to get a card out of their hand. Remand, okay. So this is kind of turning into a worst case scenario for us, I think. But now we do at least have a slightly better idea of what they're doing. So we're going to go ahead and play this Colonnade out here. And then if we don't have to counter anything, we're definitely going to run the Snapcaster out. I mean, the chances that they don't have a removal spell of some sort are very, very slim. But we're gonna go for it anyway. Because we're gonna at least try and make them have a bolt and a path for our Colonnade. We do also have this Cryptic Command that we might be able to use to bounce their Nahiri. But I guess if we were going to do that, we would have had to have a slightly different plan. Haven't seen Nahiri in quite some time. It seems as though most of the Jeskai lists have moved off of her, but she seems to be a relatively strong card. Okay, so this is a good card, but it doesn't do anything for us right now, so we're going to bottom that. Draw. Well, that Vendilion Clique would have been really nice to have a little bit ago. So here's the rub. So we can play out this fortress here, and if we attack with the Snapcaster, it will allow us to leave up 2 forms of interaction. If we fire up the Colonnade and they have Path, we really get blown out. So I think we're going to use the Snapcaster right now to just try and keep the Nahiri at bay, because that's going to be our biggest issue right now. So if they go for the bolt, I will try and negate it. Looks like they have their own Snapcaster. Okay, so we're going to put a Logic Knot on this guy. And we only have 1 card in our graveyard, huh? So it looks like we'd have to pretty much tap out. We can't, you know what, maybe we can't even do this. Actually, here's what we'll do. We're going to Cryptic Command, counter their Snapcaster, and bounce their Nahiri. And hope that it goes through. And if not, then we'll respond with one of these. Not sure about my sequencing in this situation. And if this somehow goes through, I think I'm going to go for... No, we'll just keep Negate up for next turn to see if we can get the... Okay, another snap. So now, unfortunately, we don't have enough mana to stop their Snapcaster Mage. So it looks like they're just going to get us this game. But now that we have a better idea of what they're doing, so they're going to get their block. Yep. Alright, so now we have a better idea of what their plan is. So we'll just go ahead and go to the next game. Purge. Let's see what's bad here. Terminus doesn't seem so great, so we'll get rid of those. The Timely doesn't seem wonderful, but it is good against their burn plan. The Oust is probably bad. We're going to get rid of the Timely here. And let's see. We're going to cut a Jace. I think for a Baneslayer. Just to bring in a couple extra threats here. And we're going to cut a Hieroglyphic Illumination for the Lyra. Alright, let's try it like this. So I'm not sure if they would side out their... It's a pretty good hand. I have no idea what his sideboard plan is. I assume it's just bring in more counter magic and try and get through that way. But I guess we'll find out. They might bring in some. Ooh, he might bring in Geist and Sage Draft. Hadn't considered that. In which case, we do have one Supreme Verdict in the deck. And of course, a couple of Snapcasters that we can try and ambush his Geist with, if we get a chance. Okay. So we'll just play the draw-go game here for a little bit, I suspect. And I think, because I know we have mentioned when to use Cryptic Command when you go on the offense with it before on this channel, and I think since his deck has a much more proactive game plan, it makes a bit more sense to try and use it in that manner. And there you can see that it, of course, gave him the mana advantage he needed to kind of get around the ways we had to protect ourselves. So again, if he goes to try and just jam a Geist here, we'll tag it with a Logic Knot. And if he does nothing, we'll opt on the end step. Maybe an opt would have been a better cut than the Hieroglyphic Illumination. It does have the upside of being able to give us some card advantage in the late game. Really looking for a land here. So we'll burn the second opt as well. If they go for a Vendilion Clique, we have the... Oh, there's a Vendilion Clique of our own. But I think we really need a land drop here. No, that's not a land drop. Okay. There we go. And we'll just keep rolling here. So now we have some fuel in the graveyard for the Logic Knot. Just a little bit of backup. He doesn't yet have a white source. He's got, okay, so there's a white source if he so chooses, if he or she. Alright, another opt. I think I'm actually going to use this opt here, because I would really like to hit a land drop, and I can still have two forms of interaction up. We're going to have to put that on the bottom. Yeah, we need a land. Okay. Good old second main phase opt. Okay, so our opponent has all their colors online. And they're playing a bit more reserved this game. We're just really trying to keep up on lands. A search for Azcanta would be a great draw here. Our turn. Okay, so the Jace, we're going to go for the Stroke. And they, of course, they have some form of interaction. Looks like it might be a Dispel. Okay, it is. So I'm going to negate the Dispel to keep up Logic Knot for something else, since it can hit a creature. So, because once again, we don't really have an answer to a Geist of St. Traft or anything like that right now, so... Our hand, card quality in our hand is kind of evaporating a little bit. I think on their next end step we'll try and push the Clique through, but I'm sure that they'll have a... Actually, we might click ourselves. Let's get one of these paths out of our hand. Yeah, we're gonna do that. I just don't think we need two of them. See what our opponent wants to do here, if anything. Cryptic Command. Okay, so counter target spell, return a permanent. So what permanent's it? He's returning his own mountain. I can't imagine that they meant to do that. I can't think of a reason they would have. Now the odds that they have a bolt are probably pretty high. So I think I'm just going to let this happen. So the Clique goes away. I think we need to retain our counter magic, so I'm just going to let that happen, and I'm going to let them... Yep, looks like our opponent made a little bit of an error there. So we did draw into a mana leak, which is good for us. And again, they turned their land to their hand, which isn't ideal, but at least they guaranteed that they could make a land drop. So I think that if they were playing blue-white, and I knew they didn't have the chance to have Lightning Bolt, I might have tried to fight over that. Because in the worst case scenario we get pathed and we get a land, but I didn't like the idea of having the Clique just eat a bolt there, and it looks like we're going to get bolted or helixed here or something. Okay, so he's going to go for a Snapcaster Bolt. I'm just going to spell snare this. Even though we have 2 Path to Exile in hand, I'm just not crazy about letting him get the wizard on the battlefield there. Again, since we're both kind of... So maybe I'll mana leak this, give him a choice whether he wants to get his snap with no value, or see what he's got going on here. He might just want to get a beater in play. Nope. Okay. Alright, well there's a search. So that's going to be good. Alright, perfect. Maybe some of these Path to Exile should have been something else. I'm not sure. But with a search in play, I feel like if we can untap with this, we will start pulling ahead here. Okay, looks like our opponent still did not make their land drop. Unless they're slow rolling it for the second main phase, which I suppose is possible. It's a little surprising. Okay. And again, we're looking for lands here. Looks like he's trying to tap us down before we get a chance to see what's going on. If he goes to bounce the search, I'll just let that resolve. Not crazy about him drawing a card, but I don't think we can afford to get rid of this Logic Knot, so that's fine. So it's not a land, but we're definitely not getting rid of that. And we can not transform Search for Azcanta because it's not on the battlefield, so no. We'll just draw our Dispel, replay our search, and then we still have Dispel and Logic Knot up. Don't believe I saw any form of land destruction, no Ghost Quarters, no Through the Breach, huh? So let's see. If I lead on the Dispel, and they have a counterspell, we're in deep trouble. So I think I'm just going to have to go this route. Well, they are a combo deck. I guess it's possible they're playing Simian Spirit Guide, so we'll do that. Okay. So if they have their own Dispel here, then it'll be great that we kept this, which it looks like they do. Okay. We will Dispel their Dispel, and I think that should take care of everything. Now, I have to imagine the creature they're playing is Emrakul, so there's not really any creature that I think they should. It's interesting they main phase that, though. Field of Ruin? No. And yes, we will transform this because we want to start accruing some advantage here. Opponent still has 3 cards left in hand, though. It's a little scary. There's all kinds of things they could have. Go ahead and hopefully snag a counterspell here. Okay, just another path. So since we have so many of these, we're gonna hit his white source, I guess, here. So now actually wouldn't be a half bad time to draw that Crucible. Go ahead and get an island. Ooh, look at that. Let's see if that sticks. Ooh, it does. Very cool. Now we just need our 1 of Ghost Quarter, and we can really start to lock this game up. Unfortunately, if he draws another Through the Breach, we might be in trouble. we're just going to have to so if he threw the breaches in response here and gets an Emrakul, we're going to be in a bad way. So I think we're just going to have to pass. 1, 2. Yeah. I just can't, I think we need to just keep this at the ready to be able to search for a counterspell in the event that he draws another Through the Breach, he or she. Not crazy about it, but okay, so in this end step, we're going to go for the Field Ruin on the Steam Vents. Unless they're going to go for it right here. And again, I just assume that turn my Azcanta to hand. Okay. We're just going to activate here. Ooh, boy. So this is a little problematic. Looks like they're going to get me there. I'm going to crack this right now. Get an island. Okay. So again, unfortunately, our hand is extremely weak. If our opponent just goes through the breach here, we probably lose. There's going to be a Snapcaster. Snap through the breach, it looks like. Unfortunately, we just don't have anything going on. So I'm going to assume that we get Emrakul here, which is really too bad. Yep. I think we're just going to keep the Crucible around. Well, I mean, we're just dead, so. Yep. That'll be that, I guess. I don't have any way to gain life. I mean, I guess we could block with the Colonnade. So we'll have to... We will play to our outs here. Let's see. Play to our outs. Sacrifice our 6 permanents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go to block. And this, through the breach, does a creature go away or does it stay around? Sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. Okay. Block. Okay. hope that worked the way that I think it should have, or does. We will find out, I guess, in a moment if I die. Alright. That's on their end step. We're going to get rid of that guy too. So things certainly don't look great, but we're not dead. We're still at a healthy life total. We can begin rebuilding. Okay. That Baneslayer out. Play an island. Get down the search. And we'll pass the turn. Because they do not have white mana. So I think as soon as we can get a hold of a counterspell, we're just going to try and jam this Baneslayer Angel. Always yield to that. No, I guess not. Transform. Always yield. Guess I didn't really want that verdict. Not sure why I kept that. Oh, he's doing something. Vendilion Clique. Okay. Let's see, I could go for a counter spell, but I'll just let them see my hand, I guess. We'll just get rid of that. Okay. Get rid of that. Another remand? Dispel, sure. So we're going to take a hit from the Clique here, for sure, when his turn comes back around. We can play a land out. Could just Detention Sphere his thing there. You know what? Yeah, we'll do that. That's gonna force him to either put a counterspell on this or to use a Cryptic Command. So fortunately we are tapped extremely low, so if he has another Haymaker kind of card here, not too concerned about a Nahiri or a Jace, because we have the Colonnade to immediately start pressuring it. But this is turning into quite the game here. Crucible of Worlds being a real thorn in our opponent's side, I'm sure. It's too bad. That Baneslayer probably would have just ran away with the game for us. Okay. Spends another Cryptic to put the search back into our hand. I think I'm going to return the Flooded Strand this time around, because I'd like to shuffle that Baneslayer. Alright. Opponent's digging. So we are definitely gonna... Ooh, a Teferi. Does this change anything? Opponent has no cards in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can play Teferi, tuck his Nahiri, and then play a search. I think I like that. So let's get the Strand out. Pay 1 life. Get an island. Do I want to draw? Or do I want to tuck this? Worst case scenario, our opponent, let's see, we go to 5, opponent draws a bolt. Then we just have to start colonnading. Yep, I think we're just going to go up. Target enchantment, I forgot about that. Well, let's put out the search. Maybe that will draw his Nahiri onto that instead of... Well, we do have the Supreme Verdict as well. Yep, why don't we just do this? So now our opponent has a choice to make. They can continue to go up with their Nahiri. Just to verify, we drew a land, played a land this turn. Yep, okay. Always seems as though we've been about 1 mana shy or behind this game to really make full use out of our hand, but okay, they're going to go for draw and discard. Okay, so do they have a path to exile? Yes. Put Disdainful into the graveyard. Transform into Azcanta once again. Okay, so since we drew the Negate, I think I might tuck. We can find out if they have a Plains. So if I play this from my graveyard, 1, 2, we still have enough mana to activate this. Yep, let's find out if they have a Plains in their deck. So we're going to try and pressure that Nahiri. Let's see. We'll put Snapcaster on Cryptic. Looks like we can use that to bounce, which I guess will be as good as getting that done. So okay, with the Field of Ruin on the stack, Snapcaster is definitely a good draw for our opponent there. So he's returning my Teferi. We do have to deal with this. So if he returns Teferi, I can hit his Nahiri, but that doesn't seem like a great option. Why don't I negate this? Yeah, I also really don't want him to draw a card. Okay. Grab a second white source here. That's about all we have left. One, two, three, four. Yeah, once again, we're just a little shy here. So I think we will Supreme Verdict the Snapcaster. And just tuck his Nahiri. And that's it. our opponent draws a bolt here, they're doing quite well for themselves. No bolt, so our Ancestral Visions should be coming off suspend. Let's draw some cards. Okay. So first things first. Let's draw a card. Alright, Dispel. We'll move to combat, attack our opponent with the Colonnade. Now we do have to start playing a little faster here. We still have another game to go, I believe. Second main phase, play out the Ghost Quarter, and pass turn. We'll untap these. Alright. Okay. So they went ahead and conceded. So, is there anything else we want to do a little differently? Don't like the idea of Surgical Extraction. I don't think Rest in Peace really does anything to them. I'm trying to think of how they're going to try and close out the game. So, I think all the cards we have here are still pretty good. He saw the Baneslayer, which is too bad. So the Rest in Peace will... I guess it turns off his Bolt Snap Bolt. I don't know if that's really good enough or not, though. I mean, I think we're fine just like this. We just have to try not to time out. I guess that's going to be the way that our opponent's probably going to try and beat us here. Well, this hand, we're gonna keep it, and we're just gonna put the pedal to the metal. Okay, another land is really not what we wanted, but okay, path is also not necessarily great. I'm not sure if our opponent plays path or not. It would make sense if they did, but... So I guess if they... Okay, that's not a Geist. Haven't seen Blood Moon either, but I guess we'll just fetch a basic here just to be safe. We're going to go ahead and opt as well. Really don't need another land, okay. Play out the island. Really like a bit of counter magic. Looks like our opponent's struggling a little bit. Might have some cards stuck in hand. So if they don't find a land here, okay, they did find a land. So let's see, we're definitely going to Jace. I'm not going to click him yet. I think I'm going to just continue to make land drops. I think our plan here is just to, next turn I'm going to try and land this Jace with Negate backup, I think. And we'll tick up bottoming lands, I suppose. Okay. Hold on. I've made a slight miscalculation. Alright. So rather, on his end step, I'm going to Vendilion Clique. So this will put the screws to him. Yeah, no, you know what? I'm just going to negate that. If he wants to burn a Dispel, that's fine. Yep. Once again, not crazy about him drawing a card, but it is what it is. Just want to play out the Jace. Go right upstairs here with this. Yes. Debating whether I want to just run out a Naked Snap on his end step or not. I guess I won't. Okay. Opponent's discarding to hand size. This card's an Emrakul. Okay. So play out the Field of Ruin. Just continue to bottom lands. And then we will fire off this Vendilion Clique on his end step. Okay, so there you go. Our opponent stumbled a bit, and well, that was enough. Wasn't really a game, unfortunately, but sometimes that's just kind of how things go. Looking back on the match, I think that again, game one made a couple sloppy decisions with trying to deal with the Nahiri. I didn't really consider cards from my opponent to play around, but game two I felt went pretty well. I think I maybe, other than a couple suboptimal lines, I think we're just the better control deck. Obviously, we don't have that combo finish. I mean, we survived an Emrakul, Annihilator, and everything. And again, that's just why I really like. I know I didn't do a little deck tech or anything, but it's just the deck I've been playing for a while now. I really like the one-ofs, especially cards like Crucible of Worlds. When they come through, I mean, they really give you new options to kind of get at your opponent from a new angle, and I think that's pretty important. So I've really been liking this deck. I think it feels really good. Of course, Salvatto himself has had some success with it as of late, and it's a blast to play. Again, still on the Termini build, standard removal suite, and a smattering of the cantrips here in the main deck. So yeah, it's felt good. We'll continue to play it, and eventually I will get it through that league, and I will post those videos. Until then, just kind of recording when I can, recording what I can. Hope you have been enjoying the content. Of course, feel free to give your feedback down in the comments below. Let me know if there's anything else or if you have suggestions or questions or anything like that, yeah, just feel free to post below, and I will get to them as soon as I can. So, thanks for watching, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.